Hello, welcome all. So today's our podcast topic is navigating fund management entity, that is FME at Gift City, FME setup, compliances and global opportunities. We are having Mr. Deep Vaghela, who is a seasoned financial service professional with over 15 years of comprehensive experience spanning fund management, securities market and capital market regulation, of which more than 10 years of experience have been dedicated specifically to AIF and PMS domain, as well as the broader securities and the capital market practices. His extensive involvement with AIF and the PMS structure across Cat 1, 2, 3 of AIF gives him an authoritative and nuanced perspective on the evolution of India's fund management ecosystem and increasingly on the emergence of the Gift Cities IFSC as a globally relevant fund management jurisdiction. Deep is a recognized voice on the matters relating to IFSCA, fund regulations, compliance frameworks and the intersection of domestic and international fund management. This podcast reflects his personal views and professional insights gathered over a decade and a half of engagement with the Indian and international fund management landscape. So let's start. So our first question is, what exactly is an FME, that is the fund management entity, and how is it different from the traditional asset management company in India?
So the fund management entity or an FME is a category of an entity which is being registered under the IFSCA Act. IFSCA specific regulation of the fund management regulations, which was earlier framed in 2022 and then reframed in 2025, what we call as a popular as a fund management regulations or FME regulations. So this FME is specifically designed to manage funds, properly known as schemes from IFSCA and Gift City itself. So the key distinction from the traditional asset management company or an AIF lies in three areas. First is the jurisdiction, second is the currency, and the third is the investor base. So unlike SEBI AIF or the mainland AIF, which is operating the INR and mainly targeting the domestic investors and subject to taxation or domestic taxation, FME, which set up a fund in IFSCA, operates in foreign currency, either in USD or other foreign currency except INR, and that has caters to global investors as well as Indian investors too. And the last and most important, they enjoy a significant tax benefit.
Correct. Next question is, why is Gift City becoming a hub for global finance?
So Gift City is India's first and rather the only international financial centers, and it has been strategically designed to compete with other jurisdictions like Singapore, Dubai, Luxembourg. So the vision behind the Gift City is to onshore the offshore and bringing back to India the significant financial asset or financial services that has historically been flowed offshore for whatever reason. And since establishment of IFSC Act in 2019, IFSC is a unified regulator. Till then, the total registration in IFSC has crossed around 1100 plus registrations, and till December 2025, the IBU asset, that is the IFSC bank unit assets, has crossed $106 billion. Okay. And the cumulative non-retail fund commitment have also crossed $32.13 billion. Okay. And the investors are from almost 50 plus countries. So this is showing that a witness as a Gift City itself becoming a global hub, not only for India but for the rest of the world also.
Our next question is, what are the different categories of FMEs?
So under FME regulations, FMEs are categorized in mainly three categories. First is the authorized FME, which are normally the venture capital schemes which focus on the startups and early stage investments. Second is the registered FMEs. Registered FME in non-retail, which are the restricted schemes which invest across diversified assets like debt, equity, real estate, infrastructure, and alternative assets also.
Okay.
And they can also offer the portfolio management services too.
Okay.
And the third category is registered FME non-retail. That is the topmost category, and they are designed in such a way that they can pool up the money for all category of investors, including the retail.
Okay.
And they can launch retail schemes like exchange traded funds, and they are similar to the mutual funds.
Okay. So whether they are diversified under category 1, 2, 3?
So from taxation perspective, they are being means considered as a category 1, 2 and 3 also.
Okay.
But from registration perspective, in IFSC FME regulations, there are three categories, that is authorized FME, registered non-retail FMEs and registered retail FMEs.
Okay. Next, what kind of funds can be set up under an FME in IFSC?
So, FME can set up a venture capital scheme,
Okay.
which is normally equivalent or considered as a category 1
Category
AIF,
1 AIF, yes.
and that can invest in startups, early stage funds, early stage investments. The next is the restricted schemes, which are equivalent to category 2 as well as category 3 for investment in listed, unlisted, real estate, infrastructure, and other alternative assets. And the last one is the retail schemes, which here includes the ETF, that is exchange traded funds, and they are similar to retail schemes are similar to the mutual funds. So additionally, FME can also launch a fund of a fund, and that is a most powerful tool for global diversification that can invest in schemes within IFSC in India as well as other permitted foreign jurisdiction.
Next is, who are the typical investors in these funds, domestic or global?
So the investor base of IFSC funds are truly an international character.
Correct.
But with cumulative, as of the last data, the cumulative non-retail fund raised is around 34 billion USD dollar. And their investors are from 50 plus jurisdictions. So this clearly demonstrates that Gift City is not just attracting Indian capital in what we call as a foreign currency wrapper, but is genuinely drawing a global capital from all jurisdictions.
So it is majorly for attracting the global investors.
Yes, it is majorly to attracting a global capital.
Correct. What are the key advantages of setting up an FME in IFSC compared to mainland India? So this will be interesting question for the perspective of the proprietors or who wanted to build or set up the FME in the Gift City.
So setting up FME at Gift IFSC has multiple benefits.
Okay.
On taxation front, FME enjoys an income tax holiday of particular years, like they have to pay a zero taxation on their income.
Okay.
Beyond tax holiday, there is no GST on the services which are being availed at IFSC or within IFSC or imported from outside India. Others are no stamp duty on financial transactions, no security transaction tax, that is what we call as an SCD, if the trades are happening on the IFSC exchange. And one more critical and crucial advantage is a permanent establishment risk. So, where a fund management activities or entities by an eligible IFSC fund managers from global shall not be constituted as a business connection in India, and by that reason they are not considered as a permanent establishment in India. And this is most important for the global fund managers who are assuming that being in India they will have a risk of permanent establishment.
Oh, great. That's very crucial benefit for all of the FME, all of the person who wanted to set up the FME. Okay, what is the role of IFSCA, that is the International Financial Service Center Authority, that is a regulatory authority in regulating the fund management entities?
So IFSC was established under the IFSC Act 2019 as a unified single window regulator for all financial services activities which is happening in IFSC jurisdiction. Specifically for the fund management entity, IFSC is a sole regulator. So unlike in mainland where entities have need separate approval from separate regulators, in IFSC for fund management entities, they are the sole regulator for everything. Uh, in fact, IFSCA facilitates both development and regulation of this IFSC ecosystem through progressive policy making and international engagements too. Let me be specific that IFSC for the FMEs processes the registration of the FME license, provides an approval for the funds and the scheme. They supervises their ongoing compliances. They also undertake inspections and where required, they also takes and has an authority to take enforcement actions.
Okay. So in nutshell, the authority is in the same jurisdiction or the same premises where all the regulatory entities are working. Not like in India, like SEBI is situated in some place and the entities are situated all over the India. So GIFT City authority and the entities both are working similarly in the same jurisdiction. So that is the biggest benefit for all the entities. So they can reach out the authority very easily.
Yes.
Next, what are the key licensing requirements to set up an FME?
So setting up an FME at GIFT IFSC involves several eligibility criteria which are being prescribed under the FME regulations.
Okay.
Out of those, first is entity must be incorporated either in the company form, LLP form, or branch form. Branch can be of a foreign entity or Indian entity. But for retail, means registered FME retail, it is only a company form, LLP is not being provided. Secondly, the entity must be demonstrated sound track record, especially for registered retail FMEs. Thirdly, and most importantly, FMEs must appoint principal officers, and for registered FMEs, a separate compliance officer, and both must be physically present in IFSCA.
Okay.
Make sure that the PO and CO must meet the prescribed qualification and experience which are being prescribed in the FME regulations.
Okay.
Next, fourth is the minimum network criteria.
Okay.
It varies from category to category. Fifth is fit and proper criteria, must be met by entity, KMPs, controlling shareholders, its directors. And last is adequate and dedicated office infrastructure in GIFT is must requirement.
So these are the must requirement for if you wanted to set up the FME in the GIFT City. Okay, this was very helpful. Next, what are the ongoing compliance requirements for the FMEs?
So once an entity receives the certificate of registration as an FME, and immediately a structured set of compliance obligations gets initiated.
Okay.
After FME is being set up and a fund is also being set up, then a first stage of compliance comes like a quarterly reporting to the IFSCA.
Okay.
And in those reportings are AUM details,
Okay.
investor details, scheme-wise investment disclosures, and few other financials details for both FME as well as funds are there.
Okay.
Other requirements like FME has to maintain a network. If any material changes are being happen in the fund documents, then you have to immediately intimate IFSCA.
Okay.
And also, any change in the KMP, like change of PO, change of CO, if that is happening, you have to intimate to the IFSCA. FME must also adhere to the code of conduct which has been prescribed in the third schedule of the FME regulations. Also, ongoing compliances of the AML CFT part. If any investors are being onboarded, you have to follow the guidelines for IFSCA. Uh, Most importantly, any investor grievances.
Okay.
There are prescribed timeline has been prescribed, and within this many days you have to address and redress those investor grievances. And few other investor related compliances like reporting of an NAV, you have to share the unit statements, you have to provide a disclosure of the portfolios. Those are also an ongoing compliance. One thing I want to just tell everybody that do not see this compliance as a procedural burden or procedural requirement. This is a very foundation for investor trust and making an integrity of this ecosystem.
Correct. That is true. How important is the role of compliance officer and principal officer in an FME? I think this will be interesting and the most interesting topic for all the POCO or the person who wanted to build their career as a POCO in the gift city.
So I can answer in just one word:
Okay.
indispensable. Like you cannot overlook the role of PO and CO in IFSCA. The principal officer and the compliance officer are two critical pillars in IFSC for the fund management entities for governance, operations, stakeholder relationship, investment activities, risk management. All these pillars of everything are being managed by this two-person PO and CO. The principal officer's duties are being prescribed in Regulation 7 of FME regulations, which includes the overall fund management activities, strategy, risk management, etc. And the compliance officer is specifically responsible for ensuring all the applicable compliances, not just of IFSC, but all wherever applicable in the institution or other institution, compliance officer is responsible for the same. So, in a globally competitive environment of fund management where investor trust and regulatory standing are paramount, having a well qualified and experienced PO and CO is not merely a requirement of a regulator, but is a necessity of the day.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Okay, what are the popular fund structures used in IFSC?
So, primarily there are three legal structures how the fund are being set up. First is a trust,
Okay.
second is an LLP, and third is a company structure. But though each has a different advantages and disadvantages, but more than 95% of the funds are being structured in trust form.
Correct.
And this is most commonly used structure across all jurisdictions, and it offers flexibilities in distribution of profit. There is easy entry and exit of investors from the public disclosure perspective,
Okay.
and taxation certainty is also an important trust structure as and that's the reason trust is being the most preferred mode of structure for any fund in India.
Whether it's a fund management entity in the gift or AIFSC.
Yes, in domestic as well as in this jurisdiction, where trust is the most preferred structure.
How does taxation work for funds and investors in IFSC?
So, taxation is really a case to case based thing, but to be on specific, from fund perspective, a venture capital scheme, which can be categorized as category 1 or 2, enjoys a pass-through status,
Okay.
meaning uh, any taxation falls directly in the hands of the investors.
Yes.
This is similar to what is there in mainland India. And for category 3 equivalent structures, taxation is at fund level,
Okay.
meaning the fund pays the taxations and pass on the tax paid income. However, the IFSCA, where the investors are from across jurisdictions, the DTAA, that is the Treaty Double Taxation Avoidance Agreement, plays a very significant role. And in determining the actual tax liability. And the applicable treaty between India and the home, means the investors' home jurisdictions, is needs to be carefully evaluated on case-to-case basis. So taxation is a crucial point, and it has to be determined and considered from an investor to investor base, how, in which jurisdiction your investor is, in which residence they are.
Next, what are the operational challenges faced while managing the funds from IFSC?
So, while GIFT IFSC offers a compelling value proposition, but fund managers, especially the global fund managers, who are accustomed to live in like cities like Singapore or Dubai, have some challenges in addressing with the geography. That is the only I feel things, but things are improving, and we are seeing acceptability of this geography also at global level.
How easy or difficult is it to raise global capital through IFSC?
So raising capital from global investors has become progressively easier in this ecosystem. Though it is require a well-crafted strategy and deep understanding of regulatory framework as well as the international investors' expectation too. The positive side is fund can be denominated in the USD and other foreign currencies, and there are clear tax benefits in this jurisdiction. As I said that as per the last December 2025 data, the cumulative non-retail funds commitments raised from IFSC funds are around $32.13 billion, and that too with an investors from 50 plus jurisdictions. So this is a clear testament that growing that investors from other jurisdictions are coming to these jurisdictions, and this is also rapidly growing too.
So this shows the global investors' involvement at very huge level.
Also, if GIFT IFSC grow more, and there are more successful fund closes, and more good exits will happen, then the fundraising environment will also become more favorable, more and more favorable. It is favorable, but it becomes more and more favorable.
So this will play a very vital role in the development of Indian economy.
Yes.
How does IFSC Gift City compete with the global financial hubs like Singapore and Dubai?
So, Dubai, like DIFC, was set up in 2004, and in Singapore, MAS was set up in early 1970s. And in comparison to that, IFSCA was too young, but rapidly growing international financial centers. Now, to the best of my knowledge, Singapore has an fund management AUM of around $4 trillion, while DIFC manages an AUM around 700 billion. But both are benefiting from decades of institutional development. But IFSC, as of December 2025, with a commitment from non-retail funds of around 32.13 billion, is clearly setting a stage to compete with this jurisdiction. But what sets IFSC apart is the proposition. It is backed by India's own story of USD 4 plus trillion. So when we expect, and India being a third largest economy by 28-29, that will also be benefited because the funds will flow from this jurisdiction, from global jurisdiction to this jurisdiction to India. So I feel that this will be a good jurisdiction and it will surely strongly competitive of those other jurisdictions like Singapore or Dubai.
Well said. Companies in IFSC invest globally as well as in India?
Yes, absolutely. So this is a dual access capability where a FME or a fund can invest in the India as well as a globally permitted jurisdiction. Uh, Currently, a significant portion of the funds goes into India, definitely because India's growth story is a primary attraction point for the global investors. However, the whole architecture of IFSCA allows a clear global deployment of fund.
Okay.
So, IFSC or any fund setup in IFSC is not merely a vehicle for investing in India, but it is a gateway for both India and to the world.
Correct. So more focus is on the global market.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? What are the opportunities for the NRIs and foreign investors?
So GIFT presents a set of opportunities for NRIs as well as other foreign investors. Like for NRIs, GIFT IFSCA provides USD denominated gateway investment. Like in India, if an NRI is being invested, then there are complexity from other FEMA regulation perspective, especially when they are investing from NRE or NRO account. While in IFSCA, that is not the case. They can directly invest in the funds and also take the benefits of the taxation. So NRI can invest in IFSC funds and get benefited from taxation. Plus, the family investment funds is also relevant for NRIs to manage and consolidate their investment and global wealth through a regulated entity in IFSC. For global foreign institutions like pension funds or wealth funds, it offers a similar environment which is there in other international financial centers with the proper standard, proper governance, plus, and the most important, an access to India.
Okay.
So beyond just funds, IFSC also have other products for NRIs and foreign investment like banking, insurance, other capital market products.
Okay.
So there is a lot of opportunity for NRIs and foreign funds to deploy through GIFT.
Okay, so IFSCA have opened the doors for all the global investors as well as NRIs through offering various investment ways in the IFSC jurisdictions. Okay, what are the career opportunities exist in FMEs for the finance and the legal professionals?
So GIFT FME is emerging as a significant destination for skilled professionals. Professional like finance, law, compliances, and even technology too. Specifically for the FME, there is a strong demand for investment professionals like portfolio analyst, research analyst, who can understand Indian market as well as the global market. Now, on the compliance and legal side, compliance officer is one of the mandatory requirement under the FME regulations, and CS, CMS, CS, LLBs, those can act as a compliance
So
officer.
they are eligible for appointment as a compliance officer.
Yes. For legal professionals, they are actively involved in the fund documentation, investors onboarding, filings with IFSCA, ongoing compliances, and a lot more. Even risk management is one of the area, and apart from that, operations, mid office staff are also strong in demand.
Okay, so this creates a good hub for all the persons who wanted to build career in this.
Yes.
Okay. What skills or certifications are important to enter in this space?
So, if I just talk about the skills, then of hard skills, that is mainly a domain knowledge.
Okay.
That is a hard skill a professional has to bring for within the grip city or for that relevant field. Uh, Hard skills like cross-border taxation, FEMA regulations, fund structures, investment thesis, risk management, and other things which can help for the fund management industry. Definitely, knowledge of a global fund domiciles and other jurisdiction is always valuable. And if I say about the soft skills like investor relations, global client communications, and the regulatory engagement are equally important. The professionals who try to have or being in Gift City just make one thing clear that they are the bridge to the two worlds. One is the regulatory knowledge meeting with the global standards.
Correct.
So that skills should be there to get an optimum or rather what you say in this industry
Okay.
or to be in this IFSCA.
Okay. So recently the authority has mandated the requirement of certificate course,
Yes.
particularly for the fund management entities and the capital
Yes,
market.
that will enhance these skills too.
Correct. Okay. Next is for the perspective of the CS students and the company secretaries. How is the demand for the company secretaries in IFSC is evolving?
So from the beginning, the demand for the company secretaries in IFSCA is strong,
Okay.
and the profession itself is well positioned and add that significant value in the ecosystem. Now the company secretaries, by the virtue of their courses and training in the securities law, securities market, capital market, corporate laws, governance, regulatory compliances, are naturally equipped. They are well equipped with all the compliances requirement that entities like IFSCA. And even under the FME regulations, a compliance officer is a mandatory role, especially for the registered FMEs. And CS is specifically recognized for that.
Correct.
So, as a CS can become a bridge for the management, stakeholders, the government's requirement, legal compliance, and whatnot. ICSI is also actively engaged with IFSCA and they have also provided various guidance for the CS students and CS professionals on IFSCA regulations. So for company secretaries, we are looking to build a career in global financial market. Then Gift IFSCA is genuinely an exciting
So
frontier.
they don't need to go now into another countries like US, Canada, UK.
This is an exciting because you can find all the people or all the investors from different jurisdictions and from here also, and you have to comply with their regulations as well as here regulations wherever applicable.
So I just wanted to highlight Deep Vaghela is also company secretary by profession. Okay. Next, what are the biggest challenges currently faced by FMEs in IFSC?
So, while Gift IFSC has made a remarkable progress till date, fund management entities do really navigate some challenges. First is talent availability.
Okay.
Building a high quality team of fund managers, compliance officers, legal professionals who are willing to be physically based in IFSC or Gift City is still a challenge or evolving challenge, though it is improving as the ecosystem grows, but still people are facing this challenge.
Okay.
Second is investor awareness about Gift City because that investor education for these jurisdictions is required. And third, and that is also one of the most important, is the service provider ecosystem, like fund managers, custodians, auditors, and other specialized specific IFSCA councils is still in scaling up stage. However, I would like to just emphasize that this challenges also represents an opportunity for professionals
Correct.
and also to service providers to build and expertise and grow within this ecosystem. But one thing would like to specifically highlight that IFSCA has been remarkably proactive, responsive, and that proactive approach towards everything has day by day reduces these frictions too.
Okay.
Earlier there were challenges, but now there are challenges at limit.
Okay. So authority is very supportive to all the
Yes.
regulated entities.
Yes.
Okay. Any common mistakes new FMEs make during setup or operations which you wanted to highlight?
So, first and foremost is underestimating the substance requirement.
Okay.
The physical presence of principal officer and the compliance officer in IFSC is non-negotiable.
Correct.
Entities that attempt a nominal presence without a genuine operational substance may face a challenge during regulatory inspection. So this is a non-negotiable requirement and EOCO should compulsory based in IFSC.
So I have heard that IFSCA is also making surprise inspections. Is it true?
Yes, they are making surprise inspections,
Okay.
but they are also supporting everybody also.
Okay. So this is
Then-
also mandatory requirement that POCO must be present.
Yes.
Just to facilitate that they are making this efforts that the regulated entities comply with this requirement.
See, they have set up a regulations
Correct.
which everybody have to comply with.
Correct. Correct.
And this is one of the requirement.
Okay.
So I always say that any PO and CO of FME should always be available and present from at IFSC.
Okay.
So apart from that, second is the taking the maximum benefit of this jurisdiction. So the structure of the fund, because a fund should be structured in such a way that you will get a full benefit, you should get a full benefit of this jurisdiction.
Correct.
So getting this right at the outset is far more efficient than correcting at a later stage. And thirdly, and most people which overlook is following the AML, KYC guidelines and procedures. You have to properly check what are the requirements, how that will be followed.
Okay.
And my advice to everyone that setting up an FME here, please engage with experienced professionals on legal, tax, compliances who are specialized in this jurisdiction.
Correct.
As this is the only way to avoid all these mistakes or the pitfalls.
Correct. That's very insightful information. Okay. Where do you see IFSC Gift City in the next 5 to 10 years?
A really good question. Let me take you to the base now. Considering the GIFT foundations which was happened in the year 2019, and if we exclude the impact of the 2020 COVID, it is just 5 years for
Correct.
IFSCA.
Correct.
And in this 5 years, the IFSC banking unit, that is IBU assets, have reached at 106 billion. And the fund raised on non-retail side has came to around somewhere around 32 billion.
Okay.
An investor from 50 plus countries is itself a good show within these 5 years.
Okay.
And the most important point is India is projected to become world's third largest economy by 2028 or 29, where the GDP is expected to be reached of around 7.3 trillion by 2030. And with this GDP, the deal flow, capital, investment opportunity will come and accessible through GIFT IFSCA. So GIFT IFSCA will definitely go exponentially. And in my personal view, this is my personal view. And if I project next 5 years, say for example 2030, I would say, and then this is realistically and likelihood that the fund management commitments would at least be tripled
Okay.
from the current stage.
So even though we face this COVID crisis, we are developing in very well manner.
Yes. And as I always said, the best chapter of IFSC
Is yet to
is
come.
story are yet to come.
Yes, that's true. Can startups or the smaller fund managers benefit from the IFSC?
So, GIFT IFSC offers meaningful opportunities for smaller fund managers, and like under authorized FME category, a small fund managers can establish a venture capital scheme
Okay.
which can invest in the startups or early stage companies. And in authorized FME, the net worth requirement is also lower compared to the registered FME,
Okay.
and making this as an entry point for the small fund managers.
Yeah.
And if a small fund managers do not wish to set up a full-fledged unit on standalone basis, there is a platform pay
Yeah.
that allow them to manage the funds. So this is particularly for the first time fund managers. They can use this platform play. And for startups, IFSCA is one more jurisdiction for or one more avenue for the fundraising where they can attract a global investors.
Yeah.
So for startups, this is the one more way to get and global investors and raise the funds for themselves. My simple message or my simple answer to small fund managers is GIFT IFSC is not just for the big or institutional investors. It is thoughtfully designed which include a pathway for diverse participants, including the small fund managers across fund managers.
Okay.
So, as I said, that they can have an authorized FME, and if they don't want to set up a standalone basis, they can use a platform pay.
Okay.
That is always an easy entry point for all fund managers.
Okay. So this is very useful information. Okay. Is IFSC the future of India's global financial positioning?
So, if you say, is IFSC the future? I will say it is not just the future, it is presently the global financing. It is already positioned as a global financing platform. So, currently the India has a USD 4 plus trillion of economy, and it is growing at approximately around 8% with largest workforce plus a thriving startup ecosystem and a deep capital market. All this together is providing a bedrock to gift IFSCA as a global narrative. As India's growth story, will move towards being the world's third largest economy, the financial infrastructure which supports those growth will come through GIFT IFSCA.
Yeah.
That flow will be definitely through GIFT IFSCA. So I truly believe that GIFT IFSCA is a central to India's strategy for global financial leadership.
Okay. Okay. What FMEs in IFSC you would like to break?
So as I say that people or small fund managers believe that gift IFSC is just for big and
Big players.
global institutions only.
Mm-hmm.
This is not true.
Okay. One opportunity in IFSC that people are missing today.
One is platform play,
Okay.
which is totally underutilized and people are missing, especially the fund managers or wealth managers. And the other is a co-investment framework.
Okay.
That both opportunities are currently missed by many FMEs or many thoughtful professionals who want to explore this jurisdiction.
Okay. The last question is your advice to someone planning to set up an FME.
Be genuine about the substance requirement.
Okay.
As I said, that substance requirement is must. POCO should be in gift IFSC.
Okay.
Secondly, invest thoroughly in the framework. Third, build your team well in time.
At the time of application, you have to provide the
Yes.
details of principal of
So don't wait till receipt of certificate of registration.
Thank you very much, Deep, for providing such insightful information, and thank you so much for providing your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you have any queries regarding this topic, you can simply write in the comment section. And I have also mentioned the link of the LinkedIn profile of Mr. Deep Vagila. You can connect with him over a LinkedIn. I hope it is helpful. Stay connected for more videos. Bye.
Thank you.